Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The mountainside of Thunder Island was boundless. There were only 12 servants in Luo Feng's palaces, and they were all carefully selected sector lords. During the 80,000 years, when Luo Feng had created the ultimate technique star map, Luo's family had developed into a true superfamily with its huge sum of resources. It was a top-tier superfamily in every aspect: members, training system, and a number of great beings. There was even a large group of sector lords. It was normal to train someone to be a sector lord, and it was easier with adequate sources. Barbata had been confident that he could raise Luo Feng to be a sector lord, and his resources were nothing compared to what Luo's family had. Two sector lords greeted Luo Feng as he walked in the hallway. Family Master. Family Master. Their eyes gleamed. As Luo Feng's descendants, they worshipped him. You can walk out first, Luo Feng said as he quickly walked out of the hallway and arrived at the square in front of the palace, in front of which was a cliff. Yes, sir. The two sector lords walked out. Luo Feng looked out into the distance. A shadow flew toward him. It was True Yang Knight. Teacher. Luo Feng shouted, smiling. Luo Feng. True Yang Knight landed on a rock. Please, teacher, take a seat. Luo Feng walked along the path beside him. There were several pavilions on a square made of rocks, including exquisite wooden desks and chairs. They sat face to face with each other. You came here to pick me up immediately after I sent you an email. True Yang Knight said, looking pleased. You're such a good disciple of mine. I shall respect my teacher, Luo Feng said. Ha ha. Stop acting. True Yang Knight laughed. I know you want to know how other universe knights reacted. Don't you? You're so perceptive, teacher, Luo Feng answered. It had been 2 days since he fought Bark Mirror Emperor, and the footage had already spread throughout the human race. Many universe knights had watched the clip. It must have evoked strong reactions, because lots of universe knights had been dissatisfied before. Those same universe knights may have been amazed after watching the clip. Luo Feng felt good just imagining that. He wanted to see the look on those universe knights' faces. Luo Feng may not have cared about what ordinary life forms thought, but he did feel accomplished by dumbfounding those universe knights of the human race, many of whom had their own universe countries. Ha ha. I knew it. True Yang Knight guffawed. It never rains, but it pours. You never defended yourself when those universe knights were trashing you, yet you showed everyone the footage of you killing Bark Mirror Emperor. Luo Feng laughed as well. Well, just as you expected, those universe knights were all amazed. True Yang Knight said, excited. I don't know about others, but those same friends who asked me to tell you to leave the mountainside have now apologized to me. They wanted me to tell you how sorry they are. Sorry. Luo Feng was dazed. You proved yourself to have the power of a mid-tier universe knight by killing Bark Mirror Emperor, True Yang Knight exclaimed with amazement. You're so powerful, yet you're just undying. Those universe knights want to respect you as you'll definitely be a universe overlord when you become a universe knight someday. No one wants to be your enemy. Luo Feng nodded. When you were weak, supreme beings would look down on you. But when you were as strong as they were, or even manifested greater potential, they would apologize and try to befriend you. Luo Feng nodded. I've received quite a few congratulatory emails in the past 2 days, and lots of them came from universe knights. Universe knights like Ganwu Universe Master and Guiyi Knight, who were already close with Luo Feng, had sent emails to congratulate him immediately. Some universe knights Luo Feng had never met also sent him emails and told him that they would visit him a few days later. Of course, there were some universe knights who couldn't change their attitude instantly. Those were the ones who voiced their discontent the loudest. Meet as many as possible and be friends with them. True Yang Knight smiled. I'll stay here for the next couple of days. Some powerful universe knights won't take me seriously, but they value you a lot. I'll take advantage of that. Suit yourself. Luo Feng smirked. It's my honor to be taken advantage of by you. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng's palaces were alive with activity. Many universe knights had visited his place. When the news that Luo Feng killed Bark Mirror Emperor was made public, it meant Luo Feng entered a new circle, the circle of universe knights. Great beings valued each other's power. Though Luo Feng was greatly valued by his own race, the universe knights within his race wouldn't associate with him voluntarily. To them, Luo Feng was a mere talent, and he was yet to be a great being. Whereas now, Luo Feng was already a great being. And he might get even stronger in the future. It was likely that he would become a pillar of the human race in the future. Jiu Lun Universe Country Master, Hebei Knight, Golden Axe Knight. Luo Feng muttered, looking around. So many universe knights and universe country masters. In total, 163 supreme beings have visited here in the past few days. Family Master is so mighty. The two sector lords transmitted their voices. They were exhilarated that they could actually meet those legendary universe country masters and universe knights. These were individuals whom lots of undying fighters would never be able to lay eyes on. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng, True Yang Knight, and Nine Flames Universe Master were chatting loudly. Luo Feng turned around. A flash of light was flying toward them. Nine Flames Universe Master also turned around. Another Universe Knight. A man in a fiery cape appeared. He wore a mystical and alluring smile. True Yang Knight stood up. It's Gui Yi Knight. Gui Yi Knight, said Nine Flames Universe Country Master, standing up and greeting him. Brother. Luo Feng walked out. Gui Yi Knight was the second disciple of Primal Chaos City Leader, and he had always served Primal Chaos City Leader. He was definitely one of the closest to Primal Chaos City Leader. His power was legendary, even a tiny portion of it could amaze many. He was the mouth and tongue of Primal Chaos City Leader, who relied on him to deliver messages and execute orders. So lively here. Gui Yi Knight looked at Nine Flames Universe Country Master. Nine Flames Universe Country Mazer, I didn't interject on your conversation, did I? Not at all. Luo Feng, True Yang, and I were just having a casual chat, Nine Flames Universe Country Master said. Gui Yi Knight nodded and smiled. Good. Because I have an important matter. Huh? Luo Feng looked to Gui Yi Knight. Brother, Gui Yi Knight said. I'm here at our teacher's request to tell you that the application for you to join the Supreme Council of our race has been approved, and from now on, you'll be qualified to participate in the Supreme Council. The Supreme Council. Luo Feng was thrilled. He had expected that he would be accepted once he demonstrated his power, but he was still overjoyed. Finally. He was finally admitted into the ranks of the seniors of the human race. True Yang Knight smiled. Congratulations, Luo Feng. You two, as teacher and student, got admitted into the Supreme Council together. Nine Flames Knight laughed. It'll be a wonderful story for our human race to tell. Gui Yi Knight continued, Brother, though you're qualified to participate in the Supreme Council, meetings are rarely held. Every time it is held, the Council discusses matters that are vital to us humans. However, based on what I know, there will soon be a Supreme Council meeting. The virtual universe system should send you a notification shortly. Oh? Expectations flashed in Luo Feng's eyes. So soon? Yes. Nine Flames Universe Country Master became solemn. Yes. There shall soon be one. Luo Feng, this Supreme Council meeting is all important. What is it about? Luo Feng couldn't help asking. It will be held very soon, and you'll learn all the details then, Nine Flames Universe Country Master said. Of course, this is only my speculation. It may not be about any specific matter. Luo Feng looked at Nine Flames Universe Country Master and Gui Yi Knight, perplexed. True Yang Knight was also confused. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Gui Yi Knight and Nine Flames Universe Country Master left, without elaborating on the Supreme Council meeting of the human race. Luo Feng and True Yang Knight didn't ask any further questions, as the meeting would be held in the near future. A message from the world of glory, said Luo Feng. Luo Feng's consciousness left the virtual universe and connected to the world of glory, where he received quite a few messages instantly. Some of them were from the heirs in the Hong Alliance, while some were from the system of the world of glory. Blade River Emperor, you're an exceptional heir of the ancestral god school, said one message. You've proven your power with your records. And your records have attracted the attention of a beast god of the ancestral god school. In the near future, Thunder Beast God of the Ancestral God School will arrive on Bohinia Island in the flesh, and bestow you a valuable in public. Luo Feng was dazed by the message. Thunder Beast God would bestow him a valuable in public. What happened to Zhu Chong Emperor will finally happen to me. Luo Feng realized. He was thrilled. I remember that Bark Mirror Emperor wasn't conferred any true treasures, but Zhu Chong Emperor was bestowed 2 true treasures. One of the 8 beast gods will arrive on Bohinia Island and give me the valuable personally. Luo Feng was both stunned and exhilarated by the news. Inside Luo Feng's palace on Bohinia Island, knowing that the Ancestral God School was about to publicly bestow him a valuable, Luo Feng stayed on Bohinia Island and waited patiently. Thunder Beast God is going to arrive here himself and bestow you a valuable. True Yang Knight stood up abruptly and opened his eyes wide. You're not kidding, are you? How could I kid about this, teacher? Luo Feng said. It'll happen soon. True Yang Knight stroked his hair and walked around the hall. He frowned and murmured, if one of the 8 beast gods actually arrives here himself and puts up such pageantry, he's at least going to give you a true treasure. But it doesn't feel right. Though the Ancestral God School is the greatest superpower in the universe, it won't just throw away a true treasure randomly like that. What do you mean by throw away, teacher? Luo Feng asked, smiling. Zhu Chong Emperor was bestowed with 2 true treasures. As for me, it's okay for me to get at least 1, right? True Yang Knight shook his head. You're not the same as Zhu Chong Emperor. Not the same, said Luo Feng. Luo Feng was dazed. He thought the power he manifested was at Zhu Chong Emperor's level. Besides, both of them were sub-members of the Ancestral God School. What was the difference? Zhu Chong Emperor is a special life form, said True Yang Knight. He doesn't belong to any other power, and hence, he belongs to the Ancestral God School completely. Whereas you are firstly a member of Hong Alliance, then a sub-member of the Ancestral God School. Bark Mirror Emperor, who is admitted by the Northern Territory Alliance, was never given any true treasures by the Ancestral God School. Luo Feng suddenly understood. The Ancestral God School is the greatest power in the universe, True Yang Knight went on. Though it doesn't fight for anything, it doesn't value the great beings of other powers as much as it does its own members. Bark Mirror Emperor is most loyal to the Northern Territory Alliance. You're most loyal to the Hong Alliance, the human race. Zhu Chong Emperor didn't join any other powers, so he is only loyal to Ancestral God School. True Yang Knight looked at Luo Feng. I've collected information on lots of exceptional heirs, and I found out that only those who are 100% loyal to the Ancestral God School can receive the best. If one belongs to another power, he won't be treated the same as those who show complete loyalty. Luo Feng nodded. It made perfect sense. If pressed to choose between the Ancestral God School and the human race, there's no doubt that you'll stand with the humans, True Yang Knight said. That's why the Ancestral God School won't grant you much, even if they want you to be part of them. However, they did invite Thunder Beast God to come personally. It would be insulting to him if he gave you a mere treasure. It's got to be a true treasure. True Yang Knight paused, then added, which baffles me. Luo Feng nodded. He would stand with the human race without a doubt. As for the Ancestral God School, He was indeed not faithful to it, even after knowing that they would bestow him a valuable. He stood in solidarity with the human race. For what it's worth, said Truyang Knight, looking at Luo Feng, apparently, the ancestral god school highly values you. In light of that, they are willing to give you a valuable even knowing that you're with the humans. I understand. Luo Feng nodded. Don't expect too much, Truyang Knight said. Although I think it'll be a true treasure, the ancestral god school surely won't be too generous. I'll just have to wait for it, Luo Feng said. Luo Feng looked at Truyang Knight and thought that if the valuable given by the ancestral god school was not useful to him, he would give it to teacher Truyang. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Days passed, and Luo Feng continued waiting on Bohinia Island. While he was waiting, Luo Feng familiarized himself with the valuables he got from Bark Mirror Emperor. Inside the World Ring. Ha ha. The Northern Territory Alliance paid a huge price to rope Bark Mirror Emperor. Luo Feng's original earthling body was wearing golden armor in a bizarre shape. It was covered with weird beast engravings, which did not belong to any one of the beast gods. It was the true treasure armor. As soon as Luo Feng put it on, the information about the armor was sent to him instantly. The true treasure armor was named Golden King Armor, and it had 3 forms. The first form could weaken the power of a material attack to 1% of its original power. The second form could weaken the power of a material attack to 1/1000th of its original power. The third form could weaken the power of a material attack to 1/10,000th of its original power. If the armor couldn't withstand the attack, it wouldn't be able to effectively weaken the power of the attack, and if the attacking power was too strong, it wouldn't be able to weaken it at all. When the user was fighting a universe knight, even the third form of the armor could only weaken the attacking power by half. For universe masters, these ordinary true treasures were not useful at all. As for beings like Zhuoshan Ku, they could destroy an ordinary true treasure easily. Those universe masters don't care much about ordinary true treasures, but they are earnestly desired by universe knights. Luo Feng studied the ancient armor he wore. I'm yet to have the power to rival universe masters, so this golden armor is invaluable. Luo Feng exclaimed with thrill, no wonder they all want true treasures. He finally understood why Pei Feng Knight had only been injured when his remote ocean body exploded in front of him. He had relied on the true treasure armor in its pinnacle form. I wonder which armor is better, mine or Pei Feng Knight's, Luo Feng thought. Bark Mirror Emperor was wearing this golden armor. Fortunately, I have the true treasure star map, and I combined the power of 520 stars, which multiplied their power. Star map and the golden armor neutralized each other, and that was how Bark Mirror Emperor died. Luo Feng looked in the distance and saw a gigantic beast. It was the golden horned beast. I'll have the original earthling body wear the golden armor, Luo Feng thought. And when I get the force armor in the future, I'll have the golden horned beast wear it. The golden armor was different from force armor. The golden armor only had defending power, yet the force armor could derive soldier armor, general armor, and king armor, which meant force armor had enormous godly power. In Luo Feng's plan, his original earthling body followed the spiritual force leader path, so he only needed the golden armor. Golden horned beast did close quarters combat, and hence force armor could be fully utilized on the golden horned beast. Luo Feng had acquired quite a few valuables from Bark Mirror Emperor, and 2 of them suited Luo Feng the best. One was Golden King Armor, and the other was a set treasure called Swallowing Claws. This was comprised of 4 claw gloves that Bark Mirror Emperor had worn on his claws. Now, Golden Horned Beast wore the set treasure. When he utilized the set, the power of the 4 gloves would be transferred to 1, making its power surge. Bark Mirror Emperor had some other treasures, but they were useless to Luo Feng. The precious materials used to recover godly bodies were meaningless to Luo Feng, as he had the remote ocean. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng waited for the arrival of Thunder Beast God, while familiarizing himself with the golden armor and the swallowing claws. 11 days after he received the email from the Ancestral God School, a terrific power arrived in the sky over Bohinia Island. The power was so strong that it was superior to that of the guarding beast god on Bohinia Island. The heirs flew out of their palaces. Thunder beast god is arriving, True Yang Knight said, flying out immediately. Island Luo Feng's palace, Moshe body sat with his legs crossed, and the original earthling body was still familiarizing himself with the golden armor. When the power arrived, Moshe body was thrilled. The original earthling body flew out of the world ring. He finally came, said Luo Feng. He took a deep breath, stepped out of the door, and flew into the sky. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the sky over Bohinia Island stood more than 100 million heirs. Luo Feng and True Yang Knight stood side by side with each other. Bolts of lightning filled the sky and covered five-colored Aurora Lake. An enormous shadow was dimming in the lightning. This figure was the source of the power. A loud snort was heard. Power surged, and all the heirs in the sky dove down. Even Universe Knight heirs couldn't resist the force. Slowly, the enormous shadow flew down and showed its true face. He was covered with cyan hair, and each strand of hair looked like a whip of a thunder god. His three claws seemed to step on and suppress all of space, and his partially opened wing churned the lightning above him. His most striking features were his eyes. His eyes were like oceans. The eyes of thunder. Nobody dared exchange eye contact with him. Majestic, said Luo Feng. After only a glimpse, he felt that the terrific being in the sky was like a part of universe origin law. It's said that becoming a beast god means merging with the law, but the guarding beast god is not as powerful as this. Will becoming an actual beast god change one's foundation? None of the heirs could resist the power. But it wasn't because of the sheer power. It was the arrival of the universe origin law. I am Thunder Beast God. His sound was like thunder, resounding across the entire Bohinia Island. One of the 8 beast gods. Air, Blade River Emperor. Intangible power enveloped Luo Feng, and he rose into the sky. The heirs on the ground looked at Blade River Emperor in shock. Now, they all understood that the arrival of Thunder Beast God was for the human, Blade River Emperor. So, this is the control over space and time, thought Luo Feng. He sensed that the intangible power enveloping him was neither space nor time, but a force that was superior to both. Blade River Emperor rose up gradually. At that moment, he was like the sun coming out, attracting attention from all the heirs. Thunder Beast God looked down with his eyes of thunder. His eyes glinted with friendliness, and the power enfolding Luo Feng vanished, dazing Luo Feng. Thunder Beast God opened his mouth and started to talk. Blade River, Thunder Beast God said. Luo Feng gave a salutation in the sky. Beast God, he said. Your power, your improvement, and your will all satisfy me, Thunder Beast God said. He looked down and concentrated on Luo Feng. I'll bestow you a valuable. Almost all the heirs down on the ground were thrilled and couldn't help talking among themselves. It's indeed a public bestowal. Thunder Beast God arrived here himself to bestow a valuable. It has to be a true treasure. Why else would Thunder Beast God be here? Blade River Emperor is so lucky that he's going to get a true treasure again. The heirs were all excited, and Thunder Beast God didn't stop their discussions. He was happy to see other heirs jealous. What's all the fuss about? Said one heir. If you could kill Bark Mirror Emperor as an undying fighter, the Ancestral God School would also think highly of you and bestow you with a valuable. Blade River Emperor is at the same level as Zhuchong Emperor, who was given a valuable in public before. I'll train myself. Perhaps someday I can have the same treatment. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng couldn't hear the discussions on the ground. Neither did he want to hear them. He was looking forward to the true treasure with exhilaration. Thank you, Beast God. Luo Feng saluted him. Keep up your hard work. Thunder Beast God's voice rumbled. Meanwhile, a gigantic ball of lightning showed up in front of him. The ball had a diameter of tens of thousands of miles, and it flew toward Luo Feng like a meteor. The lightning vanished as the light ball dove down. When it dropped to Luo Feng, the lightning completely disappeared, leaving only an ancient mirror with a diameter of hundreds of miles. The mirror was round and golden, emitting golden light from its surface. It stopped moving directly in front of Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked at the giant mirror in front of him, perplexed. A mirror? Luo Feng blinked. I believe it will be of good use to you, Thunder Beast God said, looking down. Each of his eyes was larger than the mirror. Take it. Yes, Luo Feng answered respectfully. He stored the ancient mirror in his world ring. As for studying the valuable, Luo Feng decided to do it after the beast god departed. After all, beast gods were of high status in the ancestral god school. Thunder Beast God smiled and said, Don't disappoint me, Blade River. Thunder Beast God disappeared, and so did the intangible power. Everything on Bohinia Island was back to how it had been, and all the heirs on the ground were quickly engaged in heated discussions about what had just happened. Many heirs of other races rushed to try to talk to Luo Feng. Congratulations, Blade River Emperor. Congratulations on getting another true treasure, Blade River Emperor. Luo Feng smiled and went back to his palace immediately. He didn't want to talk to other great beings. This baffled them. What is that mirror-like valuable? Asked one heir as Luo Feng left. I don't know, replied another. I've seen some mirror-type, true treasures used to aid illusion attacks. Blade River Emperor is proficient in spiritual force weapons. Why would the ancestral god school give him a valuable to aid illusion attacks? Don't make random assumptions. Perhaps only Blade River Emperor knows what it is used for. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hustle and bustle filled Bohinia Island, and the news that Thunder Beast God had arrived on the island and personally bestowed Luo Feng with a valuable had quickly spread. At the same time, Northern Territory Alliance got the news. A white-haired, four-hoofed being walked into the area and said, Ha ha. The ancestral god school has been using the same techniques since the beginning of the universe. They immediately started to draw Blade River Emperor to their side after seeing how excellent he is. Woo! Pei Feng, did Bark Mirror Emperor come here before? Yes, teacher, Pei Feng Knight said as he followed him. Bark Mirror Emperor did come here before, and he stood on the square in front of my palace. When? The white-haired and four-hoofed being asked. 3 years ago, Pei Feng Knight answered. Okay. The white-haired and four-hoofed being walked slowly through the area, and stopped on a square in front of a floating palace. Pei Feng Knight followed respectfully. Leave me first, as I'll turn back time, the white-haired and four-hoofed being said. Don't be in my range. Yes. Pei Feng Knight's eyes gleamed. Pei Feng Knight flew to a distant place like a beam of light, and looked toward his teacher, full of expectations. Though he was a universe overlord, he had only witnessed universe masters performing the turning back time technique once before. Turning back time could injure universe masters, and if a universe master was severely injured, enemies could take advantage of the chance to kill him. This was why universe masters preferred to perform it in secret, unless they trusted the witnesses completely, or the chance was small that it would backfire. Howl! 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 The white-haired and four-hoofed being growled and looked around calmly. The time in the space around him started to go backward. It was like a movie being rewound at a rapid rate. Many heirs came here on the square, all the great beings were flying backward, even speaking backward. Time was quickly being turned backward. It all seemed like a strange illusion. Time suddenly stopped, and so did the scenes before them. Bark Mirror Emperor was talking to Pei Feng Knight in the scene when time had paused. That's me. Pei Feng Knight said, looking at the paused scene from afar. It was Bark Mirror Emperor standing with him. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Everything was illusory in the space and time affected by turning back time. Only the white-haired and four-hoofed being was real. Bark Mirror Emperor, said the white-haired and four-hoofed being, looking at Bark Mirror Emperor. Come, my child. The white-haired, four-hoofed being whispered, and an intangible power quickly put Bark Mirror Emperor under its protection. Go back. Everything started to be restored. It was like a coiled spring, at some point, it would spring back. The universe was able to recover itself, and after a universe master turned back time, the universe would reverse it. Every point in time was in the past for the universe, and should not exist at present. The universe would bite back if someone tried to break this rule. Ah! Ah! Bark Mirror Emperor screamed. Ethereal power enveloped him continuously. The white-haired and four-hoofed being watched calmly. He was protecting Bark Mirror Emperor, and transferring the backlash of the universe to himself. He was a universe master, and thus he was strong enough to resist such power. Ah! 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 Bark Mirror Emperor uttered heartrending cries, overcome with agony. The universe kept biting back. The power could easily kill Bark Mirror Emperor. Reversing time and resurrection were against universe law, which would be punished by the universe. However, universe masters volunteered to bear such punishment. After a short while, everything was back to normal, but Bark Mirror Emperor now stood on the square, looking around in confusion. What happened? Asked Bark Mirror Emperor. Teacher. Payphone Knight said, flying toward Bark Mirror Emperor. The white-haired and four-hoofed creature nodded and looked at Bark Mirror Emperor. It's done, he said. Bark Mirror Emperor, you've been resurrected. Do not forget that you have died once. I have died once. Bark Mirror Emperor was dazed. Suddenly, all the memories flooded his mind. It was him. It was him. Blade River Emperor. Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes glinted with bitterness and madness. He quickly noticed that something wrong. My true treasures, where are my true treasures? The white-haired and four-hoofed being looked down at Bark Mirror Emperor and said, Bark Mirror Emperor, my job was only to protect you when I reserved the time. I won't bring a true treasure back. It would cost more than obtaining 10 more new true treasures. I'll only resurrect you. Those true treasures and ordinary treasures you had are all gone. After he was done, he disappeared. Payphone Knight gave a salutation. Thank you, teacher. Bark Mirror Emperor saw the giant, white-haired, four-hoofed being leave. He couldn't help looking at Payphone Knight and saying, Payphone Knight, why is Qilan Master less powerful? Do you even need to ask? Payphone Knight said, looking at him coldly. You're an undying special life form with the power of a universe knight. Resurrecting you is like resurrecting a senior universe knight. My teacher reserved the time to save you, and he bore the entirety of the backlash from the universe. Fortunately, my teacher is a top-tier universe master, which is how he's able to withstand it. Such backlash power could easily kill a universe overlord, and my teacher needed to resist it all by himself. If even you can sense the change in teacher's power, teacher was severely injured and will need quite a few valuables to recover. Bark Mirror Emperor was dazed. Actually, he had not known that universe overlords could only be revived by universe supreme masters. He only had the power of an ordinary universe knight, but he was undying. That meant reviving him was like reviving senior universe knights, and the universe bit back hard. Even universe masters were injured by it. Beings at Bark Mirror Emperor's level wouldn't easily notice it, yet he had this time, which meant Qilan Master's injuries were indeed serious. Payphone Knight looked at him and said, Northern Territory Alliance thinks highly of your potential, but reversing time to resurrect a great being costs a lot. The backlash power from the universe when resurrecting undying emperors is easily recoverable to universe masters, but resurrecting universe knights will take universe masters a long time to regain their health. You know the rule. This is a free revival. If you die next time, you'll bear all the costs for your resurrection, and it can't be afforded by ordinary universe knights. I understand, Bark Mirror Emperor said in a low voice, clenching his teeth. Remember, you've died once, Payphone Knight said. They were in Payphone Knight's palace, which was at the center of the Northern Territory Alliance, resembling the primal region of the human race. That was why Qilan Master had been able to resurrect Bark Mirror Emperor without concern. Blade River, Bark Mirror Emperor growled, grinding his teeth harder than ever. Just a tip, said Payphone Knight. His eyes glinted with disdain. Don't even think about revenge until you become a universe knight. Bark Mirror Emperor glanced at Payphone Knight fiercely. Blade River Emperor is as powerful as a senior universe knight, said Payphone Knight. Even I was injured by him. Do not seek out Blade River Emperor for the sake of vengeance. What? Bark Mirror Emperor opened his eyes wide in shock. Until you become a universe knight, you cannot even beat him, let alone kill him. Payphone Knight shook his head, took a step forward and returned to his palace. Bark Mirror Emperor stood on the square with his face twitching. Blade River. Blade River. Bark Mirror Emperor clenched his claws. His face twisted with rage. Asterisk 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 asterisk. While Bark Mirror Emperor privately seethed, Bohinia Island was a tumult of activity. The heirs were still discussing the arrival of Thunder Beast God. The heirs were all speculating what valuable Blade River Emperor had gotten. Inside Luo Feng's palace, Moshe Body sat with his legs crossed. His original Earthling body was already back in the world ring, testing the new valuable. On the boundless plain was an ancient mirror with a diameter of hundreds of miles. Luo Feng stood in front of the mirror and pointed at it. Life imprint, seer. A trace of godly power flew toward it and merged with the mirror. The life imprint contained in the godly power was seared into the valuable. The mirror quickly shrank to the size of his palm. Meanwhile, information flooded Luo Feng's mind. It's called Golden Thread Aurora Mirror. Luo Feng looked at the mirror with a thrill. It's not a true treasure, but it's a top-tier treasure. Regardless, it's more precious than lots of ordinary treasures, and would be the envy of any universe knight. Luo Feng immediately understood that the ancestral god school had bestowed him with the most suitable valuable. There were different categories of valuables, including attacking weapons, spiritual force weapons, defense armors, escape valuables like wings, boots and ribbons, sealing types, origin types, flying palace types, soul types, and domain types. Original true treasures were used to recover godly bodies. As for surviving, flying palace types and soul types were the most useful. Both of them could weaken material attacks, or soul attacks, by almost 100%. Skywolf Palace and Star Tower were both of the flying palace type. Another type of treasure that was the equal of flying palace type and soul type was the domain type. Thousand Treasures River and Five-Color Aurora Lake were both domain type true treasures. Once they were utilized, they were able to control the area they touched. Within that particular area, the users could suppress enemies who were their equals, and they could bound the enemies who were superior to them, giving them the chance to flee. As for enemies who were weaker, true treasures like Thousand Treasure River and Five-Color Aurora Lake could easily kill them. Domain-type true treasures, although they were aids, were quite handy, to say the least. A domain-type top-tier treasure, Luo Feng said. He looked at the palm-sized mirror. Ancestral God School is indeed generous. I'll be able to control my own fate when fighting supreme beings and decide whether to battle or to flee. Golden Thread Aurora Mirror. Luo Feng burst into laughter. He opened his mouth, and Golden Thread Aurora Mirror shrank to the size of the head of a pin and flew into his mouth. It then merged with Luo Feng's chest and left a golden imprint. Drive. Luo Feng injected his godly power into Golden Thread Aurora Mirror. Golden threads suddenly emitted from Luo Feng and enveloped the area of 60 million square miles around Luo Feng. Inside the area were countless golden auroras scurrying around like fish. Luo Feng was the center of the area. This is my domain. Luo Feng looked around. Suppress. The golden threads gathered. It might have been able to annihilate an undying emperor easily. Godly power, burn. He drove the law domain again. The golden light pervaded this domain, and the law domain merged with the domain of Golden Thread Aurora Mirror. Ha ha. The ancestral god school is so considerate, said Luo Feng. They know that I became undying after completing gold law comprehension, so they gave me a valuable of the gold category. Luo Feng found out that Golden Thread Aurora Mirror's power surged after gold law domain overlapped Golden Thread Aurora domain. So powerful. Luo Feng said. He suddenly felt like he could kill an ordinary universe knight when driving the golden threads with his godly power. With such a treasure, even if I meet with supreme beings, I can bind them first and run away. If I want to fight, I'll just let remote ocean body approach my enemies and self-destruct. My enemies will be trapped in golden thread aurora domain, and they'll be so suppressed that they can't even run away. Luo Feng was overjoyed. This golden thread aurora mirror was rarer and more precious than ordinary true treasures. Besides, to great beings, the compatibility of valuables was much more important than the quantity. Apparently, this golden thread aurora mirror could help Luo Feng's power move one step forward. It amazed Luo Feng to realize how thoughtful the Ancestral God School had been to give him this valuable. Ancestral God School, I am first and foremost of the human race, thought Luo Feng. But I'll be grateful to you for bestowing me with this valuable. Asterisk 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 asterisk. After receiving the golden thread aurora mirror, Luo Feng studied it every day and tried to combine it with his other true treasures. He pondered the best way to fight. The door of Luo Feng's palace on Bohinia Island was fiercely knocked on. Blade River, open the door. Blade River. Someone was shouting outside eagerly. Luo Feng, dressed in black, waved his hand and opened the door, saying, "Come in." Without Luo Feng's permission, even his friends wouldn't dare trespass in his palace within range of the five-color Aurora Lake. Luo Feng saw Cha Man Emperor, Li Emperor, and Thousand Rain Emperor rushing in. What happened? What's got you so worried? Luo Feng smiled. I've never seen you guys like this in all the time we have known each other. It was Moshe Body who greeted them, and he had different auras from the original Earthling body. After all, Moshe Body only performed his talent technique, replicate, to replicate the aura of the original Earthling body. Which was why Cha Man Emperor, Li Emperor, and Thousand Rain Emperor didn't notice it. Luo Feng, Cha Man Emperor said. Something has happened. Something really bad, Li Emperor added. Blade River, said Thousand Rain Emperor, you're in big trouble this time. Luo Feng frowned. What's the issue? Don't worry, just speak slowly. You didn't go to the world of glory, did you? Cha Man Emperor said. That's why you don't know yet. Don't know what? Luo Feng frowned. I've been in my palace these past few days. He had devoted his time to joyfully studying his new golden thread aurora domain. Besides, he was waiting for the Supreme Council meeting of the human race. Why would he go to the world of glory? If he did, he would just be surrounded and assailed with questions. Just tell me, what happened? Luo Feng pressed them. Li Emperor and Cha Man Emperor opened their mouths almost at the same time. You just... Luo Feng couldn't help but cut in. Li Emperor, he said. Tell me what happened. This video will end here.